senior and a biological sciences major with a neurobiology minor.
I'm a political science major.
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineer.
I'm a physiology and neurobiology major.
Actuarial science. A finance major.
P&B. And I'm a nursing major.
Economics.
Economics.
Electrical engineering.
Alright. We are master's students in our fifth year of our elementary education program.
I'm in the political science department for the doctoral program, and I have an RA-ship with the Africana Studies Institute.
I'm in nursing.
Mechanical engineering and German studies.
Elementary education.
And I major in civil engineering.
Finance major.
And I'm a bio major.
Driving while you're drunk or have any kind of alcohol in your system.
Driving under the influence to me is when you're driving above the BAC of .08.
Driving under the influence is when you are operating a car or motor vehicle when your judgment and kind of mental condition is significantly impaired by some form of substance.
So like driving while any impairments like going on, whether it's like artificial like drugs or if it's like sleep or something.
Driving under the influence would be driving after having had alcohol, after having consumed alcohol or having done any drugs.
Driving while you're not in your normal state of mind.
Driving under the influence is when you are under the influence of a drug and you drive or operate a motor vehicle.
I guess driving under any substance that can alter your, state of consciousness.
I guess, I don't know the technical of being above .08, but I still have no idea what that is, so I guess just like being able to feel not okay to drive, but I don't know. A lot of people define it 2 or more drinks, but I usually do 1 and that's it.
Driving under the influence is when you're driving with alcohol in your system.
Driving in a state where you can't drive to like a police officer's standards, I guess.
Not being in self-control.
It depends on the person.
I would define it as driving while unable to drive.
When you've had like above the legal limit. So if you're 21, like don't have above .08.
Driving under the influence is when you take any substance, whether it's alcohol or drugs, and your judgment is impaired in any way, and you get behind the wheel of a car.
I think it depends if you're over or under 21, but if you're under 21, any kind of alcohol in your system while you're driving. If you're over 21, I don't really know the legal limit, probably like anything after like 2 or 3 drinks. Or pills too, no pills.
Definitely depends on like your body weight, because I'd usually say like 2 for someone my size, but like some people like half.
Well, for me personally, I'd say 5 because I'm a bigger guy. But it depends on your size and just like your general tolerance to alcohol.
Probably like 2. Well, it depends on the person, but probably 2 to 3 drinks.
1.
I guess it's your time to react to things, like if something jumped in the way, or I guess curvy roads too.
I think it depends on the individual, their tolerance to alcohol, their weight, and over the period in which they're drinking.
1 is already too many to drive.
3. 2.
Probably like 4 or 5.
I'd probably say if I were to generalize, just like a beer.
Probably, honestly, like 2 or more.
Probably around 4 or 5.
1.
Dangerous.
I think for me, I would say more than 2, and I definitely wouldn't.
Well, like slower motor coordination, things like that. And obviously, like you need to your motor skills to like drive correctly, like stop at stoplights and all that.
It it impairs judgment, it slows reaction times. What was the frontal cortex or the frontal lobe, or whichever one that judges consequences for decisions, it impairs the functioning of.
It slows your reaction time. It kind of makes you like make worse decisions because it can kind of promote like your risky behavior. So maybe like if you get impatient and you're like waiting at a light, and they say like red lights, like red actually attracts like drunk drivers, which like can make them blow off red lights.
Makes you unable to steer and, brake.
Well, alcohol is basically influences your brain and all of your senses, motor, and all that. So I think it completely takes over your body and shifts your ability to think correctly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, one, it impacts your decision making, and then it also, like, you can't react as well. It affects your reaction time.
Definitely does not help your ability to drive. It definitely worsens it. Your reaction time is a lot slower. Your decision making is definitely worse. So
Depends on how many drinks you had the night before, I'd say, but sometimes alcohol stays in your system longer. It depends on the person, I guess.
It affects how you perceive things, I guess.
I think it just like kind of blurs like your vision, and like it's not like your judgment's not on point, I guess, when you're drunk or have drinks.
Depends on the person and how much alcohol was consumed. It's very possible that you're still impaired. Like, depending on how much you drank, likely that you're still impaired.
I don't think you have the ability to make judgments on how close the cars are to you, and I just don't think you should do it.
I mean, like, you probably can't really see straight, and your depth perception's not doing too good.
It makes you incapable of driving.
It significantly impairs it.
No. No.
depending on how much you drank the night before, yes, but if there's any sort of doubt, I would not.
I think so, yeah.
Morning after, like, kind of depends on how much sleep you get. Like, depending on how many drinks you have. Like, if you are slamming down, like, 20 drinks and then you get, like, 4 hours of sleep, you probably can't drive.
Yes.
I don't smoke, but I can imagine that it does.
I think, once again, that depends on how much you drank.
That depends on how much you drank, because obviously if you drink a lot, then you'll still be drunk in the morning or have a severe hangover, which could also affect your ability to drive. But if you just had a moderate night drinking, then you should be fine by the morning.
So let's say I got blackout drunk like last Friday, and then it's 7 a.m. I don't think I'm in any state to drive. But like if it's 6 p.m. the next day, I'm probably good to drive at that point.
Perhaps, but at the very least in different ways than alcohol impairs your ability.
Probably not until your blood alcohol level has reached 0.
It depends how much you drink.
I mean, I know people do, but I really wouldn't. I would give yourself the morning off.
Yes.
I think it just depends. So, like, if you are sober completely, then you can. But if you're not, or if you are still hungover from the night before, then you shouldn't.
Absolutely, yes. How so? I think marijuana does the same exact thing that alcohol does, because you're not the same person you are sober as you are under the influence, even if it's a straight drug.
Do you think marijuana affects your ability to drive?
I do. It's like a drug, so like in the same way that alcohol would.
Can't really speak from experience, but I would say it slightly affects your ability to drive. I know, like, a lot of people say, like, they drive fine, like, while high, and I'd say it's probably not as bad as being drunk and driving, but, like, you're still taking a drug and it can still affect you.
Yes, I think it has different effects on you, but it definitely also does not do good while you're trying to drive.
How do you think it affects your ability to drive?
I would probably say it also decreases your reaction time and makes your decision making definitely worse.
Yes, because marijuana it's still a drug at the end of the day, so while it may be better than alcohol, you're still not going to be thinking completely straight, and it also affects your reaction, so.
Bad.
Something that's prescribed to you, you take for something?
Yeah.
How so?
I don't know specifics, probably makes your reaction time slower.
I have no idea. I just know you're not supposed to. I guess, I don't know. I guess just maybe your eyesight.
I imagine it does. I don't have as, I don't know as much, but I imagine because it interferes with the brain as all drugs do, I think it probably has some kind of effect that is, either impairs judgment or slows judgment or affects your mental capacity to drive safely and make good decisions.
Yes.
No.
Your judgment is still impaired, and you're not in your full capacity to think correctly, and you're still groggy and kind of in a haze.
The same way alcohol does, like how you perceive things.
Mostly painkillers.
Drugs that are not over-the-counter drugs.
Xanax, Adderall, Oxy. Yeah.
Probably like opioid type drugs, or drugs prescribed by doctors, anything.
I think of opioid addiction. That's what I think of.
Opioids.
Xanax. No, not Xanax. Like Xanny bars, like bars.
Like antidepressants, anxiety meds, stuff like that.
Adderall, like Vicodin, marijuana, just like antidepressants, just like not hard drugs, quote unquote.
Normal steroid ones for I don't know, that you prescribed.
Xanax.
Not good.
Absolutely.
Unresponsibly, yes.
How do you think they affect your ability to drive?
Well, if you take them with alcohol or any substance that you're not supposed to take them with, then it could be even worse than alcohol. But if you take them as prescribed and you're allowed to drive on them, then I don't see a problem with it.
I mean, definitely some things like Percocet or some things can just kind of knock you out and kind of be equivalent of maybe driving sleepy. You can also people drive high on Oxy, and that's terrible.
Once again, I think it depends on the type of drug. If it's amoxicillin or penicillin, I don't think that's going to be interfering with your ability to drive, but something like Percocet can. Once again, Percocet has the oxycodone in it, and that affects the brain. That they tell you not to drive because it can affect your mental faculties in a way that's not safe.
Absolutely. I think they affect you more than alcohol might, because if you get a surgery and you're on Oxy, you're basically out of your mind, worse than alcohol would do at a low amount.
Yes. I mean, we saw Tiger Woods. He's on a bunch of prescription drugs, and he was just sleeping behind the wheel. So really anything that affects your mood, your reaction time, and all that, not good to drive with.
I guess it depends which ones. Some have side effects, some don't.
Yeah, I do, because I think any kind of drug would just change the way you think.
Yeah. How so? Depending on the prescription drug. It can definitely make you more drowsy. That obviously is going to make you drive like crap.
Yeah. I just think a lot of people forget.
I Absolutely.
Again, probably differently than alcohol. Well, maybe not, because some are some opioid. I'm not sure if there's a difference between opioids and narcotics, but I know there's some kind of overlap.
Yes. I know some of them make you really drowsy and stuff like that.
Not really, no.
Yes.
When you take something that's not prescribed to you, it's obviously going to put you in a mental state that puts you at risk to probably crash your car.
I mean, I guess so.
Actually, it does. It is.
I guess in some cases. Treats like certain diseases better than other drugs. And it's legal some places for medical use.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I also feel like it's one of the drugs that should not be used while driving.
Because it is a drug and it is prescribed.
Yes.
I mean, it would be, because it's a drug that's prescribed by your doctor, but that doesn't mean it, like, labeling as a prescription drug doesn't mean, like, it's the same as, like, Oxy. Like, you have prescription drugs, like Accutane or something.
I guess, yeah.
Do you consider medical marijuana to be a prescription drug?
I do, because you would need a prescription from a doctor to take it or use it.
Yes, I do.
Yes, but not in the sense that not with the same sense of prescription drug that I was answering your last question.
I think it is because there are states where physicians can prescribe it, and it is a drug, ergo, it is a prescription drug.
Yes, because even though it's medical, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still the same drug. So.
Yes.
Why?
Because your doctor, you need a prescription from your doctor, and it's of a higher dosage, so you still need to go to the pharmacy to get it, or a dispensary. Yeah.
Well, I think it's legal, so in that sense, it's prescribed by a doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, I've heard it's a drug.
No. To me, caffeine is just like something to wake you up more, and it doesn't really affect your body as much as drugs do. It kind of just keeps you more alert.
In excess, yes, I do.
I mean, sure. Because I've been told this.
No, I probably should, but I don't.
Why don't you consider it a drug?
Because I don't think it, like, affects you in a bad way. It probably does in the long term, but in the short term it doesn't, so, like, I guess just, like, driving and stuff like that, or day-to-day life, it wouldn't really affect you.
No. Because I don't know. I can use it every day. I drink every day.
Yeah, it's a drug because, I mean, if it's the definition of a drug, it's an outside thing you put in your body that has an effect on you. That isn't food.
Yes. Do you want the why there? Well, because by definition, it's not one of the 6 nutrients. By definition, that would make it a drug.
I do consider caffeine to be a drug.
Why?
Because it does change, like, how you would act, but like it's not like alcohol, because caffeine is it doesn't like negatively impact your body as like marijuana would or alcohol.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I think it's highly addictive. It's a stimulant.
Yeah, I mean, it is a drug. Even if it's just like the amount in your coffee, technically like Adderall. I mean, people take it in kind of like prescription drug form. It's just different.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a stimulant.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because in the same way as opioids, narcotics, alcohol, and also marijuana that we've mentioned, it chemically induces an altered state of mind and body. Yeah.
yes. Because it completely rejuvenates you and it brings you into a state that's not actually the state that you would be in if you had not taken it. So,
No.
No. Why not? So I drink like 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, and I'm fine.
I don't feel it does, but I don't know the facts yet.
Do you think caffeine affects your ability to drive?
Again, in excess, I think it does affect your ability to drive because you might, after you have too much, you start to get tired, so it has the reverse effect, so drowsiness.
Depending on how, like what you take, like I say, coffee probably doesn't do a lot except for help you drive if you're being if you're tired. So I'd say it doesn't negatively impact your driving ability whatsoever.
I don't think so. Maybe makes you more alert, probably in a good way.
I think it does, but I think most people take a safe level of caffeine and they're already adapted to it because caffeine's so prevalent. If you took someone that never had caffeine before and gave them like 500 milligrams, they'd probably like be very anxious and not drive very safely.
I'm sure it has some effect. I don't think it's a negligent effect. Caffeine's a stimulant, so it's going to, in a lot of cases, increase your ability to focus, and doesn't cause as significant an impairment. I mean, it'll still have some affection because all drugs to some capacity affect the brain, but I don't think it's a negative.
Yeah, I mean, just like any other drug, but also like it depends on how much you drink.
I would say maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's enough that it should be a problem.
How do you think it affects your ability to drive?
If anything, I feel like it would make you more alert and probably like increases your blood pressure, so like that might be a bad thing, but overall I feel like it'd be alright.
I mean, I guess so, yeah.
How do you think it affects your
Maybe way more jittery, like, I don't know.
No. Because, like, I can drink as much of it as I want and not be affected. But, like, alcohol, it affects me.
Perhaps positively.
How so?
I'm a better driver when I have some caffeine in my system. I'm more alert, more aware, sustained focus, more acute attention.
no, not necessarily.
Why not?
Because I think that the effects of caffeine are kind of short-lived after, so.
Maybe in like, well, what do you mean? Like caffeine, like coffee, or like caffeine just like in general?
Just caffeine in general.
Like, I mean, any drug in like high doses could probably impair your driving abilities, but I would say there's probably like a difference between like a hallucinogen, which marijuana technically is, and like a stimulant. But either way, like you do want to be like yourself when you're driving. You probably want to be like jacked up on like stimulants when you're driving, or like really high when you're driving.
No. I mean, if it did, it'd probably make it better. Like, I'd be more awake.
I think if anything, yeah, because like your mind is like racing. Sometimes it makes you want to drive faster, but sometimes it also helps you focus better. I drink coffee every morning, and I don't think I could really think I'm better driving after I drink coffee than before, because I'm like groggy and tired.
No.
Why not?
I need caffeine to drive.